Let's do this. So today I'm going to be discussing about Automaton bases and side objectives and placements. So let me first start off like I do in my other videos. I am level 150. I play solo, no death, super hell dive. I post those runs quite often. And then including that, I have around 1900 hours in the game. So all of my game knowledge I have accumulated made me think about this game in a different way than majority of players. If you do not like it, or if you do like it, what I'm suggesting, let me know in the comments down below, and let me hear your new suggestions as well. I like to see that. I like when the community starts having their thoughts about certain enemies, certain areas, certain guns into my comment section, because it starts a discussion, right? And let's also not call each other names. Let's keep the discussion civil. Right now, when I post these sort of videos, I've seen the discussion is very civil. People are exchanging their ideas and what they like and what they dislike, and that's a good thing, because like I said, this game could get really cool and could get really better once people start talking about their suggestions that they want and they want to see differently, right? We had enough buff weapons. We had enough buff support weapons. Now let's start talking about the enemies. So what I'm going to ask you guys is this important question. What is the problem with this Fabricator? Don't look at this. What is the problem with this Fabricator? I'll let you guys think on that for a couple seconds. All right, enough thinking. Stop thinking. Here's my issue. This guy, this Fabricator, too exposed, right? He's out in the open. Why do I say that? Look at this pillar. What is this pillar protecting? Nothing. Look at this small little half fence. What is that half fence protecting? Nothing. Look at this wall over here. This wall is not even big enough to cover him, right? What I am suggesting is in the second line right here, there should be concrete walls that cover the fabricators and only the vents should be exposed. So that would make fabricators a little bit more challenging. This should only be on 9 and above, not 8. 8 should not get this sort of new design, but this new design should only be 9 and above, because at that point now we are getting to a new section of the game where the game should offer players a different difficulty and a different enemy design and enemy based experience. A lot of the fabricators right now are super easy to cheese out on, man. I'm not even joking. You could just call Eagle airstrafe runs. You can use Commando, EAT, anti-tank emplacement, Spear, Wasp, what else? For Coilless to take these guys out. And even Eagle airstrike, barrages to take these guys out easier. What I'm suggesting is this concrete, reinforced with concrete walls, or reinforced with this concrete all over, just like this bunker right here. So what do you guys see with this bunker, right? This bunker did take a lot of high explosive shells, anti-material shells, but he is reinforced. It took a lot of shots for that thing to penetrate it. That's what the sort of design I want for the fabricators. The fabricators should have a reinforced concrete wall or concrete bunker that has an HP pool, right? So this thing can be destroyed, but it takes a lot, and the HP pool is pretty tanky. So you're gonna have to waste a lot of shots to destroy the HP pool of this reinforced concrete to metal wall. But then he still has the easy exploitable weak point, which is this tossing a nade or using a Ruptor or Thermite or even crossbow inside that vent. So it would allow the bots to have something going for themselves, where their main factory of creating smaller guys, so units like him, don't get easily cheesed on. Because let's be real here. If I was a cyborg, which I'm not, but if I was a cyborg, or whatever the fucking automatons or droids bots, I don't know, I don't care. Why would I want my bases to be so exploitable to enemies, right? Back in World War II and other massive war times, we didn't want our bases or even our mortars and artillery being exposed too much to the enemy, to the point where we even created bunkers that covers our heavy weapons or even our bases as well. Why not have that same logic that we use during our massive war times? Why not use the same logic and have the bots use it too, right? It would make bots a little bit more challenging, right? Not annoying, right? Because let's be honest here, the things that make this game challenging is the spongy enemies, it's harder bases, and harder objectives. So at that point, they should gear towards more harder objective and harder bases, so the game can be a little bit more challenging and the divers can be a little bit more flexible in their thought process and not do simple quasar hit, jump away, jump hack away tactics. And including that, this will tie into the fortress. So I'm a big, huge advocate. Some of you may disagree with this, and that's fine. But I'm a big, huge advocate that fortresses should have jammers, anti-air emplacement, and a mortar emplacement. Make the fortress a fucking fortress, right? The fortress right now is a princess castle. Why do I say it's a princess castle? It's a princess castle because one of my high view videos that I think has over 100k views is the heavy gunner build. The first thing I do is hot dive into the fortress. As a player like myself, if I would have hot dived into the fortress, I should have got vibe checked. I should have completely got punished. But you don't get punished doing that because the fortress isn't fortified. It's not fortified. Yes, it has cannon turrets. Yes, it has cringe bunker turrets. But at that point, sometimes they don't even get aggroed near you. So they're not even a threat until you aggro them. But what is a threat is a jammer. I can't spam eagle strafing runs. I can't spam my orbitals. I can call down my supplies. I can call down my gear if I hot dive near or on a fortress. Mortar emplacements will put pressure on divers who are running towards the fortress like they Usain Bolts, or jump packing towards the fortress like they're a jump pack trooper from Battlefront 2. Anti-air emplacement will now allow divers not to call in and spam Eagle Airstrace and call it a day. Make the fortress a little bit more tougher. The fortress right now, once you learn the layout and once you understand where the enemies are and all that jazz, are sort of easy. Yes, there are still players who do have crazy death loops trying to face the fortress, but that player is not thinking clearly, sort of, and then including that, the player is getting punished because he's making bad decisions. If you're a diver who's made good decisions, the fortress is a cakewalk. Now let's have a challenge towards those divers who make good decisions, and let's say the fortress will no longer be a cakewalk. You have bigger walls that cover them from getting sniped. Including that, now the now the fabricators are reinforced with some sort of concrete metal thing that now has an HP pool, so you can't even destroy it with one eagle airstrafe. It's going to take your whole, it'll take like 2 to 3 eagle airstrafe for you to destroy this guy. And then on top of that, now you got to face a jammer, a mortar emplacement, and an anti-air emplacement. Because let's have the fortress be the name of a fortress. It should not be a princess castle. I should feel pressured the moment I'm within 150 meters of the fortress. Now let's move on to the emplacements, right? The emplacements, if you guys notice, do have a lot of enemies around them. But what is also easily exploitable by themselves is that they're exposed. This is my top line right here. Humans didn't want armed mortars or artillery being exposed during massive war times. So why would the bots, who are logical, let their biggest guns be exposed? Now, why do I say bots are logical? Bots are logical because they use human blood as a recycled resource, right? If they're that smart and cold and calculative, where they're using human fluid as a recycled resource, why aren't they smart calculative when it comes to base formations? Why are they letting their big guns get exposed to easy spams from orbitals and from eagles, right? So what I'm suggesting is sort of like this artillery gun right here, right? This is a better photo. Right here. Have just like the fabricators, have a concrete wall that has an HP pool circled at the back end of the mortars and at the back end of the anti-airs, and then including that, make sure there's a big ass shield that has an HP pool as well, covering the mortars and covering the anti-air emplacements. Make these side objectives more challenging. What makes a side objective more challenging is now they have greater defenses against the divers. Make the walls a little bit bigger, so now the divers actually can't snipe them. They can't snipe the barrels. Keep the barrels exposed, but make a wall that's bigger. So now, like I just suggested, the mortars and the anti-airs are now tougher to shoot out. Would shoot out from the barrels with a diver who's 100 meters away, and then including that, these guys will probably be so taken out easily by a barrage or an eagle. But now it has the barrage and the eagles have to dampen or take out the HP pool of said reinforced concrete bunker. Now, some of you may say this is now going to make bots more annoying. No, it isn't. This makes bots more challenging. Like I said before, annoying is a spongy enemy. Challenging is harder objective. This game was challenging when objectives are harder, and that's been always the case. Especially especially with bases and especially with some side objectives. So once you have those two in place, you will start seeing the thought process that I'm trying to get. I am trying to make the bots more challenging and much more of the quote unquote intelligent race than the Terminates. A little bit more intelligent than them, but they should also be intelligent enough, because they are intelligent enough, to reinforce their own bases. I am a big advocate that heavy bases and fortresses should have anti-air emplacement, mortar emplacements inside them, especially in heavy bases. Medium bases and small bases, not so much. But when it comes to heavy base and when it comes to mortar emplacements and anti-air emplacements, they should definitely get reinforced by concrete walls that are bigger, and definitely have some sort of mortar emplacement and jammers. Now, not every heavy base should have a jammer inside. That's kind of cringe, but I would say almost a lot of the heavy bases should have some sort of anti-air or some sort of mortar team emplacement. So now they're putting pressure on the diver to either take those things out first, or take out the fabricators. This will make divers have to choose which one is the highest threat and which one should I take out first and which one's the smarter play, right? Because right now, bases in general, heavy bases, are 3 fabricators and sometimes even like 5 fabricators or 4 fabricators. They're really small and they're really big and they're easily exploitive. What I'm suggesting will still allow them to be exploitive, right? Like I said, just bring a crossbow and a eruptor and snipe the vents out, boom, done, donezo. But if you don't have that, now you got to just go in there and toss a grenade. And then also barrages will still be in play, because now you can also clear out a lot of inside the base, and then including that, you can dampen that HP pool of the concrete wall or the reinforced metal and concrete that I just suggested. This will make boss not significantly more challenging, but it'll be geared towards the right steps. Right? Walls should enclose and cover up the bases. There should be taller walls. Walls should definitely be taller in size. Like I said, this wall over here, what the fuck is that wall protecting? Honest question. It's protecting the little guy, right? But it's not protecting the more important asset. The more important asset is the factory who makes more little guys. This should be the mindset that Arrowhead should go into when it comes to a lot of just this base design at 9 and above. Don't mix with 8. This should just be 9 and above, right? Don't nerf support weapons, right? That's the worst decision, is nerfing weapons. That's redundant. Why would you do that? No, not buff the enemies. Yeah, sort of buff enemies' decisions and buff their objectives, right? So a lot of people, this is a good example, right? The Ultimatum cheesed out one of the most difficult objectives that the bots have, which is to destroy the jammer. A lot of people would upset by that nerf. Me personally, I like that nerf, because you made the hardest objective the easiest objective to take out, because I just had to spam them with an ultimatum shot. Now I have to either bring a portable hell bomb, which I do sometimes, or I have to go inside and just clear out the enemy base, clear out the jammers, and call down the hell bomb. Make objectives sort of like that, where now you're forcing players to go inside. Right, like I said, this won't make bots harder. This will not make bots harder. It will just get them towards the right step. These guys can be more menacing than they are. Like I said in my previous video, if they have better AI decisions and better behavioral decisions, they will make them more challenging. And then including that, now I'm suggesting if their bases were represented by how smart they are, they would also be challenging as well. Like I suggested, have some of the bases, and not even some, have most of the bases get reinforced by concrete like this, right? Make it where, yes, he still is an easy exploit area. Yes, you could still take him out with an Eagle airstrike, but it's going to take a lot of your Eagle airstrikes, and then at that point, you just want to go inside. So make the base where it can't get sniped and can't get too much easily cheesed on. Because like I said, the bots are the easiest faction. I said this in my last video. The bots are the easiest faction, or the most quote-unquote fair faction, because half their factions is an honest joke. They just are. Maybe that's rude to say, but I'm not trying to be rude here. I'm just being honest that this fabricator, this base right here, is so much of a joke. I can just sit 100 meters away and take him out with a Charizard cannon. having some sort of reinforced walls of defense to make them not a joke would honestly half away a lot of the cheeses that has towards taking out bases. But this is my thoughts on the video. It's gonna be a little bit more shorter. It seems that you guys sort of like these sort of videos when I talk about my thoughts and just sort of my thoughts and my logic for a lot of the buffs and nerfs and sort of how I feel about the game right now. So I decided, let me do something about Automaton bases, because I have seen no one talk about this. The only person I see talk about this is Thick Fillet and Clay Aesthetics. Everybody else doesn't talk about these things. They just always talk about weapon buffs, and that's about it. Let's make it a little bit more interesting, right? Let's make the bots, at least, this is only clear for bots and level 9 and above. Let's make the bots a little bit more challenging. Like I said, the only thing that makes this game hard is the divers and also just objectives. But yeah, anyways, let me hear you guys' thoughts about this. Let me see what you guys think about this, right? Let me see what you guys think about how bases are, how side objectives are, or if you guys agree or disagree with me. I would feel like most of you would just disagree with me in general, but it is what it is. I'm out. Hope you guys have a good day. Peace.